The morning light spills into your room, yet there you lie, cocooned in warmth, hesitant to face the day. That alarm's jarring sound becomes a signal for two vastly different paths. While you linger, entrapped by the comfort of your blanket, somewhere else in the city, another soul awakens with fervor. They embrace the dawn in silence, aligning their body and mind to confront challenges that many won't even acknowledge until the sun is high in the sky. What separates these two individuals is not divine inspiration or an extraordinary fate. It is the unwavering power of discipline. In this modern world, we are constantly under siege by distractions. The allure of convenience and indulgence is overwhelming. With just a few taps on a device, we are bombarded with instant gratification that floods our brains with pleasure. A fleeting craving for food? It arrives at our doorstep almost magically. Our beloved shows are merely a click away, with entire seasons ready to consume in one sitting. Comfort has become our norm, leading us to neglect the very grit that fuels true greatness. The stark reality is that ease does not forge character. It does not build the foundations of a resilient spirit. Consider Marcus Aurelius, a ruler who could have wallowed in luxury. Instead, he chose a life of discipline and structure, understanding that true power lies within. He famously stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." For him, this wasn't just a philosophical musing. It was a lifeline amidst the tumult of leading an empire. His mental fortitude was not a mere accessory. It was his armor against the chaos around him. The Stoics understood a profound truth that many of us have forgotten. Discipline is not synonymous with suffering or deprivation. It is, in fact, a pathway to freedom. The more you learn to govern your impulses and reactions, the less susceptible you become to the whims of fate. When you take command of your mind, you begin to carve out your destiny, unlocking realms of possibility that most never dare to explore. Yet, here lies a misconception that is rarely addressed. Discipline doesn't equate to becoming a soulless automaton. The authentic form of discipline arises from a deep understanding of what truly matters to you. It's about living in alignment with your values so fiercely that distractions lose their grip. Think back to moments when you felt a surge of pride. I wager it wasn't during a lazy day spent in idleness, but rather in those moments of struggle when you persevered, tackled obstacles head-on, and refused to give in to the easy way out. That exhilarating rush, that sense of accomplishment, is the true essence of discipline, far surpassing any temporary thrill. The Stoics crafted a timeless framework to cultivate this profound level of self-control. They didn't sit in lofty chambers, distanced from the trials of life. They faced invasions, betrayals, heart-wrenching losses, yet remained steadfast in their principles. Their wisdom is not just for the elite. It is accessible to anyone willing to adopt these enduring truths. Take Epictetus, once a slave who transcended his station to become a revered philosopher. He taught that no harm could reach you unless you permitted it. This isn't merely about emotional resilience. It's about mastering your thoughts. Once you can shape your mental responses, you can reshape the entirety of your existence. Now, prepare yourself as we delve into 10 ancient Stoic principles designed to rewire your mind for discipline. These aren't just feel-good mantras. They are proven strategies that have empowered ordinary individuals to attain remarkable strength for over 2 millennia. But remember, knowledge alone is impotent without action. It's time to embrace these teachings and transform them into a driving force in your life. You might find yourself consuming every self-help video available, yet still feel trapped in the same old patterns. The journey toward growth demands not just effort, but also patience and a brave leap beyond your comfort zone. The choices you make today are the building blocks for the future you long to become. Every time you choose discipline over fleeting desires, you take a step closer to the person you are destined to be. Conversely, turning away from opportunities for growth means leaving behind that improved version of yourself. Before we dive deeper, take a moment to declare your commitment. I choose discipline over ease, and I am becoming unstoppable. If you resonate with this sentiment, show your support, share your decision, and spread the word to someone who could benefit from a little resilience. Stay tuned for what's coming next. You won't want to miss a moment of this journey. Let's explore the first guiding principle, the morning victory principle. The wise philosopher Seneca once remarked, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Your morning, that sacred time at the start of each day, represents a fresh opportunity. How you approach it sets the tone for all that follows. The initial rule of discipline is both simple and immensely profound. Conquer your morning, and you conquer your day. Too often, people roll out of bed and immediately dive into the chaos of notifications. From the very first moments, their minds are cluttered with the noise, drama, and opinions of others. This isn't productivity. It's a form of surrender disguised as staying informed. The Stoics held the early hours in high regard. Marcus Aurelius didn't start his day with messages from far-off lands. He began by grounding himself in his own thoughts. He prepared himself for the challenges ahead, focusing on what truly mattered. Your morning routine serves as a bold declaration against mediocrity. When you rise and engage in something challenging, be it a workout, quiet contemplation, or focused work, you are training your mind to value effort over comfort. You are strengthening what psychologists refer to as your willpower muscle. However, it's crucial that your routine resonates with you on a personal level. Imitating someone else's morning ritual just because it's in vogue misses the point entirely. Stoicism emphasizes individual truth and accountability. What works for a high-powered executive may not suit a college student, and what fits a single adult may not apply to a parent. The true essence of the morning victory principle lies not in ticking off a list of tasks, but in staying true to the commitments you make to yourself. If you promise to wake up at 5 in the morning and you follow through, you affirm that your word carries weight. When you commit to reading for 20 minutes and actually do it, you signal to your subconscious that you are reliable. Think of the most disciplined individuals in your life. They have undoubtedly mastered the art of the morning. They recognize that discipline is akin to a muscle. It strengthens with regular use and atrophies when neglected. They seize the early hours, when their self-control is at its peak, to build momentum for the day ahead. Science supports this notion as well. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for reasoning and self-restraint, is at its strongest in the morning. As the day progresses and decisions accumulate, fatigue sets in, making it increasingly challenging to maintain discipline. This is precisely why resisting junk food is far easier at 8 in the morning than at 9 in the evening when you're mentally exhausted. Embrace the power of your mornings. They hold the key to unlocking your full potential. Taking command of your mornings transcends the mere act of conquering tasks or accumulating accolades. It is a profound journey of self-creation. As dawn breaks and you rise ahead of the world, embracing the challenges that lie ahead, you begin to perceive yourself as someone who flourishes through effort and resilience. Initiating your day with a clear sense of purpose transforms you into a beacon of intentionality. Your identity and your actions become intertwined, each one nourishing the other. The Stoics imparted a timeless truth. Character is shaped through habitual practice. If you begin each day yielding to laziness, you risk becoming someone who instinctively leans into that lethargy. In contrast, if you greet the day with determination, you lay the foundation for a life powered by will. Your morning routine doesn't need to be elaborate or drawn out. What truly matters is its consistency and the right level of challenge to push your limits. It could be as simple as making your bed promptly, engaging in a brief workout, or penning down 3 things you appreciate. The specific action holds less significance than the intention and commitment that drives it. And remember, striving for perfection is not the goal. Rather, the focus should be on making progress. Some mornings may feel off-kilter, and at times you may falter. True discipline is not the absence of mistakes. It's the ability to return to your rhythm without harsh self-criticism. The Stoics understood that setbacks do not equate to failure. They recognized that failure is an integral part of the journey toward mastery. Now, let's explore the second cornerstone of self-discipline: emotional responsibility. Epictetus, who endured tremendous hardships and servitude, imparted one of the most profound lessons ever shared. It is not the events that shape us, but rather how we choose to respond to them. This principle is central to the Stoic philosophy of discipline. You must fully embrace the responsibility for your emotional reactions. Many traverse through life as emotional captives, allowing external circumstances to dictate their feelings. A driver cutting them off in traffic can ruin their entire day. A single rude comment from a colleague can derail their focus, and a delayed text response can spiral them into anxiety. This chaotic state isn't living. It's a form of emotional bondage. The reactive mind perceives emotions as involuntary, like thunderous storms that are impossible to escape. "I can't help being angry," they declare, convinced that this situation is an insurmountable source of stress. However, the Stoics possessed a deeper understanding. They taught that there exists a fleeting moment, a pause, between the event and our reaction. And within that pause lies an extraordinary power: the power of choice. Recall the last time someone upset you. Perhaps they brushed aside your ideas, overlooked something significant, or made a cutting remark. It may have seemed as if your reaction erupted in a flash. Yet, beneath the surface, your mind was quietly assessing the situation, interpreting its significance, and allowing your emotions to flow from that interpretation. This is the crux of the matter. Interpretation is everything. 2 individuals can experience the same event yet walk away with entirely different feelings. One may face unemployment and be devastated, while another sees it as an opportunity for a new direction. Same circumstance, divergent meanings. This is where self-discipline becomes paramount. Mastering your emotions does not imply suppressing your feelings or feigning tranquility. Instead, it involves taking ownership of the narratives you construct in your mind. Challenge yourself with questions such as, is this thought beneficial? Is this emotion propelling me forward? Embrace the journey of understanding and reshaping your emotional landscape, for that is where true empowerment resides. What would the most formidable version of myself do in this very moment? This profound question was a constant companion for Marcus Aurelius. As a leader navigating the tumultuous seas of betrayal, warfare, and loss, he diligently trained his mind to uncover meaning amidst the chaos surrounding him. He penned the insightful words, "Very little is required for a joyful life. It's all contained within your thoughts." This was not mere philosophy for him. It was a powerful tool he wielded daily. To incorporate this wisdom into your own life, Begin by paying close attention to the space that exists between a trigger and your reaction. When anger surges within you, take a moment to pause and reflect, asking yourself, what narrative am I creating here? If feelings of anxiety creep in, delve into the assumptions you are making about the future. This process is not about numbing your emotions. Rather, it's about understanding that feelings are precious indicators. They should guide your actions, not dictate them. Acknowledge your anger without resorting to harmful outbursts. Embrace your sadness without allowing it to overshadow your entire day. The Stoics practiced a unique exercise to cultivate this emotional resilience. They imagined losing what they cherished most, not to dwell in despair, but to fortify their mental fortitude. They understood that clinging to what lies beyond our control inevitably leads to suffering. When you learn to let go of your attachment to specific outcomes, your inner tranquility remains unshaken. The true beauty of taking ownership of your emotions is this. When you cease allowing others to dictate your mood, you step into a realm of emotional independence. You begin to realize that your happiness is not contingent upon someone else's demeanor, the state of the economy, or the existence of ideal circumstances. Instead, your peace becomes a creation of your own making. Cultivating this discipline requires practice. Start small. The next time someone provokes you, pause before reacting. Take 3 deep breaths. Ask yourself, what choice would discipline make in this situation? You may be astonished by the extent of power you hold within yourself. Keep this simple yet profound truth in mind. While you may not always have control over external events, you always have dominion over what transpires within you. This isn't mere philosophy. It's a skill that possesses the potential to transform your entire reality. Embrace it. Affirm it. I have control over my emotions, and I choose how I respond. Now, let's move to the third principle of Stoic discipline: mastery of the present moment. Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, "Stay within the present." This succinct phrase encapsulates a vital Stoic tenet. Mastering the present is akin to mastering life itself. In our fast-paced world, most individuals find themselves existing anywhere but in the now. Their thoughts are ensnared in past regrets or racing ahead with future anxieties. They scroll through social media, constantly comparing their everyday lives to the flawless highlight reels of others. Though they may be physically present, their minds are often fragmented and scattered. This divided attention undermines their ability to maintain discipline. A mind that lacks control resembles a computer burdened with numerous tabs open, perpetually switching from one thought to another, from memories to plans, from distractions to impulses. With such an overwhelming cacophony of noise, nothing gets accomplished effectively. This state of mental disarray is not just inefficient, it's utterly exhausting. Your mind expends invaluable energy leaping from one thought to the next, leaving you feeling drained and emotionally flat, without having genuinely achieved anything of significance. However, the Stoics understood a profound truth. Life unfolds in just one place, this moment. The past is a chapter that is closed, forever out of reach. The future remains uncertain and mostly beyond our control. But here, in this very instant, lies the essence of your power. It is in this space that choices blossom, actions unfold, and significance takes shape. Reflect on those moments when you felt intensely alive, completely immersed, and profoundly satisfied. I would wager they occurred when you were fully in the moment. Perhaps it was during a heartfelt conversation with a significant person in your life. Or maybe it was in the midst of a workout, where you lost yourself in the rhythm of your own effort. Perhaps it was while you were crafting something of true value. In those instances, distractions faded away, leaving only pure presence. Contemporary psychologists refer to this state as flow, while the ancient Stoics had their own term for it, praut, embodying total attention to the present. They understood that when your mind is anchored in the now, your clarity sharpens, your emotions stabilize, and your decision-making improves. However, mastering the present moment is not merely about increasing productivity. It is fundamentally about finding tranquility. When your thoughts remain in the here and now, anxiety diminishes. Fear takes root only when the mind leaps forward into fabricated dangers. When you are wholly grounded in the present, guilt dissipates. Regret is a companion of thoughts caught in a past that is beyond alteration. Yet, remaining anchored in the present is no simple feat. The world we inhabit today is meticulously designed to fracture your attention. Notifications, sensational headlines, and trending clips all vie for your mental energy, pulling your focus in countless directions. These industries invest billions to capture your attention. But here lies the insight that those who are disciplined come to comprehend. Your attention is your most precious asset. The way you direct this focus shapes the quality of your entire existence. When you channel it towards the present, you unleash your truest potential. The Stoics developed a practice to aid in this endeavor. They would ask themselves, what is the most crucial thing I can do right now? Not later, not tomorrow. This straightforward question cuts through the mental clutter and restores clarity to the present moment. Another Stoic principle encourages full engagement in every activity. If you are eating, savor each bite. If you are walking, feel the earth beneath your feet. If you are conversing, offer the other person your undivided attention. This is not just an abstract mindfulness exercise. It is a discipline that cultivates mental resilience through concentrated focus. When you train your mind to remain in this moment, life blossoms into something richer. Moments become more vivid, and relationships deepen. You cease to miss the essence of your own life because you are no longer distracted. You begin to experience what the Stoics termed ataraxia, a profound tranquility that arises from being genuinely grounded. This moment serves as your training ground. Each time you notice your thoughts wandering and gently guide them back, you are performing a mental exercise. Every time you choose to concentrate on what lies before you rather than a screen, you are strengthening your attention. Then there is the fourth principle, transforming obstacles into opportunities. Marcus Aurelius faced one of the most tumultuous reigns in ancient history. While a deadly plague ravaged his empire and enemies assailed from all sides, he penned, "The obstacle to action advances action. What blocks the path becomes the path." This encapsulates the fourth Stoic law of discipline. Each challenge is, in reality, a hidden invitation to cultivate strength. Many individuals view resistance as a daunting red flag, but the Stoics recognized it as a catalyst for growth. Many people perceive struggle as a signal that something is amiss. When faced with a setback, they often see it as a justification to throw in the towel. However, the Stoics embraced a strikingly different perspective. They viewed obstacles not as barriers, but as weights meant to be lifted, as challenges designed to build strength. Envision how a muscle develops. It doesn't grow by lounging in comfort. Instead, it thrives through effort, through the strain and the push beyond what feels easy. In much the same way, our character is forged through adversity. Each challenge serves as a testament to who we are. Every hurdle offers an opportunity to cultivate resilience. and every defeat becomes a lesson in perseverance. While a reactive mind interprets struggle as an assault, questioning, "Why me?" and lamenting, "Why can't this just go as planned?" The disciplined mind takes a different route. It seeks understanding, asking, "What can I learn from this moment?" Or, "How can this experience make me sharper?" This approach does not involve feigning positivity or ignoring the hurt that comes with hardship. Pain is genuine, grief is palpable, and failure stings. The Stoics were not blind to these truths. Rather, they chose not to squander their suffering. They mined wisdom from each wound they endured. Epictetus articulated this idea plainly. We may not have control over what life throws our way, but we absolutely have control over how we respond. He urged us to embody our values instead of merely discussing them. When you learn to transform obstacles into opportunities, you cease to be a mere philosopher. You become an active force of change. The path to this transformation is straightforward. Start by reshaping your perspective on challenges. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask yourself, "How is this helping me?" Rather than labeling a situation as terrible, reframe it as training. When confronted with feelings of inadequacy, choose to view them as preparation for something greater. A remarkable shift occurs as fear begins to dissolve. You start to stop dreading struggle and instead view tests as stepping stones on your journey forward. This mindset, known as amor fati, or love of fate, encourages you to not just endure life's storms, but to embrace them wholeheartedly. Consider the entrepreneur who faces rejection from countless investors. Each no is not a failure, but rather a crucial piece of feedback, refining their pitch, clarifying their vision, and fortifying their determination. Rejection, in this light, isn't a wall, but rather a map guiding them forward. Now think of an athlete who endures a severe injury. They could choose to give in to despair, or they could use their recovery time to learn, grow mentally, and emerge even more robust than before. The injury, in this case, does not signal the end. Instead, it becomes the crucible that forges their future strength. At the heart of it all lies a fundamental truth. The obstacle you face is not separate from your journey. It is the journey itself. The struggle you are encountering right now is sculpting the very qualities you'll need in the future. You cannot become equipped to handle your dream life without first enduring the trials that forge the person you aspire to be. This perspective can transform everything. You begin to stop shying away from difficulty and instead welcome it as an integral part of your metamorphosis. Instead of interpreting setbacks as failures, you recognize them as vital preparation for your next level of achievement. The Stoics held a belief in a rational universe, where each event carried significance, even if it remained concealed. Whether or not you share this belief, adopting this mindset can empower you. Embrace every challenge as a mentor and commit to being a lifelong student of adversity, for this approach will ensure that you are never held back. Embrace the idea of choosing hardship deliberately and discover the strength that lies within you. Seneca, one of the wealthiest figures of ancient Rome, cultivated a peculiar lifestyle that revolved around the notion of having nothing at all. He chose to rest upon unadorned floors, consumed bland meals, and donned coarse clothing. This was not an exercise in masochism, but rather a profound understanding of the fifth principle of Stoic discipline. He recognized that embracing self-imposed hardships could forge genuine strength. In stark contrast, the majority of people meticulously structure their lives to evade any form of hardship. They seek the ideal temperature, crave delectable foods, demand constant entertainment, and prefer minimal exertion. Such cushy routines have become so ingrained that even the slightest inconvenience can feel catastrophic. This is not a life of flourishing. It's a life of evasion. The Stoics were keenly aware that an excess of comfort can dull our senses. Too much ease can weaken our bodies, soften our minds, and ultimately ensnare our spirits. In a world where everything is pleasant, we tend to forget how to harness our inner strength. When life is devoid of friction, we lose our adaptive capabilities. In the pursuit of constant comfort, we forfeit our ability to say no to what does not serve us. The antidote to this predicament lies in voluntarily embracing discomfort. Reflect on every significant skill you have acquired. None were handed to you on a silver platter. Learning to read was once a daunting task, requiring your brain to decipher letters and transform them into coherent thoughts. The art of driving initially brought about stress as your body grappled with intricate movements under duress. Engaging in difficult conversations was often an uncomfortable ordeal, demanding emotional regulation while striving for honesty. Every ounce of personal growth emerged from the tension of these challenges. This is the essence of the matter. If you wish to remain composed amid chaos, you must practice enduring discomfort. If you aspire to stand strong when life's tempests rage, you need to rehearse resilience in the presence of rain. If you aim to maintain discipline in times of pressure, you must cultivate that discipline when the stakes are low. Seneca referred to this mental exercise as premeditatio malorum, which translates to the anticipation of misfortune. He envisioned the potential loss of his health, wealth, or reputation, not as a sign of pessimism, but as a warrior gearing up for a battle. By confronting the specter of loss in his mind, he prepared himself for the inevitable challenges that reality would bring. However, Stoic discomfort transcended mere mental exercises. It encompassed physical fortitude as well. They recognized the intricate bond between the body and mind. Strengthening one inherently bolstered the other. This is why they willingly embraced the elements of cold, hunger, and challenge. Modern science echoes this wisdom, revealing that exposure to cold can enhance the production of focus-enhancing chemicals like norepinephrine. Intermittent fasting has been shown to foster brain plasticity. Enduring physical trials cultivates mental resilience, a phenomenon known as cross-stressor adaptation. By effectively managing one type of stress, we improve our capacity to handle various others. So, how can you begin to integrate this philosophy into your life? Regularly opt for the more challenging route. Choose a cold shower over a warm one. Walk when you could easily drive. Push yourself through an arduous workout. Reject short-term pleasures that distract from your long-term goals. Occasionally, skip a meal. Try sleeping on the floor for a night. These practices are not acts of punishment. They are exercises in resilience. It's essential to distinguish this approach from self-inflicted suffering. Voluntary discomfort is not about embracing misery for its own sake. It is about equipping yourself for the realities of life. Your goal is not to cultivate a state of unhappiness, but rather to learn how to remain steadfast regardless of external circumstances. The remarkable twist in this journey is that the more you train yourself to endure discomfort, the less daunting it becomes. As you expand your tolerance, you create greater space for growth and adaptability in your life. The less you rely on comfort, the more strength you gain. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "Freedom is not about having everything you desire. It's about wanting less." When you cease the relentless pursuit of comfort, you liberate yourself from the clutches of ease. You learn to thrive without the need for perfect circumstances to feel okay. This is the essence of true resilience. Psychologists refer to this concept as distress tolerance, the ability to experience pain, anxiety, frustration, or doubt without allowing it to shatter your spirit. While many shy away from discomfort, You have the unique capacity to confront it head-on. You can inhale deeply, embrace the moment, and remain grounded while others flee from their unease. This is your distinct advantage. Start with small steps. Rise early from your bed. Push your physical limits with just a few push-ups when your body protests. Consume a meal simply for nourishment, not for indulgence. The specific actions you take are secondary. What truly counts is your commitment to consistently choosing the more challenging path. Now, affirm this in your heart. I embrace discomfort, and I am becoming unshakable. Next, consider the sixth principle, the mortality mirror. Marcus Aurelius kept a skull on his desk, not as a morbid decoration, but as a daily reminder of one undeniable truth. Today could be your last. Let this awareness shape your words, actions, and thoughts. This is the sixth Stoic law of discipline. Contemplating death infuses life with purpose and urgency. Many behave as if time stretches infinitely before them, postponing vital conversations, neglecting their aspirations, and frittering away hours on trivial distractions. They regard death as something distant, an abstract concept for others, something to be ignored. This mindset is not merely denial, it is perilous. The Stoics had a term for this reflective practice: memento mori, remember death. They were not advocating negativity. Rather, they were urging us to awaken to the reality of life. Death is the one certainty we all share. Yet, we often live as though it will never approach us. This illusion saps our focus and discipline. Remember a moment when you were starkly reminded of life's fragility. Perhaps the sudden loss of someone dear, a health scare that rattled your world, or witnessing an accident unfold before your eyes. In those instances, clarity emerges. Petty squabbles appear trivial. Postponed dreams become urgent, and squandered time feels profoundly tragic. That is the transformative power of contemplating death. It clears the clutter and reveals what truly matters. Remarkably, you do not need a crisis to achieve this clarity. Reflecting on mortality can be a daily practice, sharpening your focus, eliminating distractions, and prioritizing what holds genuine meaning. When you embrace the reality that your time is finite, you naturally become more intentional with every passing hour. Steve Jobs, who faced his own mortality, once expressed, "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most powerful tool I've ever found to help me make the big decisions in life." This isn't mere philosophy. It is laser-like focus. When time feels limited, the trivial loses its grip on you. An undisciplined mind shies away from thoughts of mortality, finding them uncomfortable. In contrast, a disciplined mind welcomes them, sharpening its perception of everything else. It prompts profound questions. If I had just 6 months left to live, how would I choose to spend my days? What habits would I abandon? What new endeavors would I finally pursue? Whom would I reach out to and speak from the depths of my heart? What legacy will I create? What mark will I leave behind? This is not a fixation on mortality. Rather, it is a profound commitment to embracing life in its entirety. When one truly understands the fleeting nature of existence, the tendency to take each day for granted diminishes. The realization that every interaction could potentially be the last encourages a heightened sense of presence and engagement. Acknowledging that our time is borrowed reshapes our perspective, compelling us to seize each moment rather than allowing them to slip away unnoticed. The Stoics held a powerful belief that the fear of death often stems from the fear of a life not fully lived. It's not the end of life that frightens us. It's the thought of reaching the final moments and discovering that we have not truly embraced our time here. Reflecting on death can illuminate this fear, pushing us to live with intention and purpose. The philosopher Seneca advised, "Let us look inward and free ourselves from the shortcomings we've accumulated over time." Every evening, he would contemplate, "Have I made the most of today? Did I uphold my values? Was I driven by a sense of purpose?" This practice was not an act of self-criticism, but rather a pursuit of alignment with his true self. He recognized that his greatest treasure was not wealth, but time, and he sought to gain a rewarding return on that invaluable investment. So, how can you embody this philosophy? Begin each day with the acknowledgement that it could be your last. This isn't meant to incite panic, but to sharpen your focus. As the day draws to a close, reflect on questions like, if this were my final night, would I be satisfied with how I spent today? Did I love deeply? Did I contribute to something greater than myself? Did I squander precious hours on trivial matters? Engaging in this nightly ritual can profoundly shift your mindset. You find yourself arguing less, recognizing the worth of your energy. You take bold strides forward, understanding that life is too short for hesitation. You cultivate discipline, not out of fear of death, but from a resolute desire to live fully. Contemplating death is not a grim exercise. It serves as a poignant reminder that life is a singular, precious gift. It inspires you to treat each day with the significance it deserves because, indeed, it matters. It urges you to live with urgency and clarity, as one day there will be no more tomorrows. Your future self, the one lying in those final moments, will either look back with pride for a life well lived or be weighed down by regret. Make choices now that honor that future self. Now, let us explore the seventh principle, the power of imagined loss. Epictetus introduced his students to a transformative practice. When you tuck your child in at night, silently remind yourself that they may not be there tomorrow. This isn't a curse. It's a profound way to deepen your appreciation. This is the seventh Stoic law of discipline. Envisioning loss fosters gratitude and mental fortitude. Many assume that picturing dire outcomes leads only to fear and sadness. However, the Stoics uncovered a different truth. By mentally preparing for potential misfortune, you cultivate a greater appreciation for what you have and equip yourself to face whatever challenges arise. This technique is known as premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of misfortunes, and it stands out as one of the most effective mental tools devised by the Stoics. Consider how most individuals approach worry. They fixate on losing their jobs, falling ill, or experiencing heartbreak. Yet, they do so passively, spiraling into panic without a plan. They dread outcomes without contemplating solutions. This passive worrying only breeds anxiety, offering no beneficial return. Embracing the Stoic practice of envisioning loss transforms this instinctual fear into a powerful tool for gratitude and resilience, encouraging a life lived with intention and appreciation. The untamed mind often shies away from envisioning the worst possible outcomes, or, alternatively, becomes ensnared in a whirlwind of chaotic thoughts. In contrast, the disciplined mind wields imagination with intention and purpose. This kind of mind doesn't merely dwell on potential failures. It envisions the triumph that follows adversity. Let's delve into how this transformative practice unfolds. Dedicate a mere 10 minutes each week to a focused exercise where you envision the loss of something profoundly significant: your career, your health, your home, or a cherished loved one. Yet, do not halt at the moment of loss. Go deeper. Picture how you would respond. What actions would you take? What insights would emerge? What resilience would you unearth? How would you reconstruct your life from this new starting point? This practice brings forth two astonishing benefits. First, It cultivates an immediate sense of gratitude. When you contemplate the possibility of losing your sight, every glance becomes a cherished miracle. Imagining the loss of mobility makes each step feel like a precious gift. When you think of losing someone dear, every shared moment is imbued with deeper significance. Secondly, this exercise fortifies your mental resilience. If the feared loss were to manifest, you wouldn't be blindsided. You have already envisioned your initial reactions. Your mind has been trained to bear the weight of such burdens without succumbing to them. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and a profound thinker, once articulated, "Everything can be taken from a man except one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." This practice grants you that very choice. No matter how bleak the external world may become, your internal stance remains firmly within your control. The Stoics, far from being pessimistic, embraced a realistic outlook. They recognized that suffering is an inherent part of life, yet they chose not to be caught off guard by it. Much of our anguish arises not from the events themselves, but from the shock of unexpected outcomes. By engaging in the practice of visualizing setbacks, you compress that gap between anticipation and reality. You lessen the emotional blow, fostering adaptability. You evolve into someone who can bend in the face of adversity without breaking. However, it's essential to strike a balance. Negative visualization isn't solely about rehearsing loss. It's equally about rehearsing resilience. You don't merely dwell on devastation, you envision strength. You don't just foresee endings, you contemplate how you will endure and adapt. You prepare yourself to respond rather than succumbing to panic. As Marcus Aurelius eloquently stated, "Loss is nothing but change, and change is nature's joy." Everything in life is fleeting. Our jobs, our relationships, our belongings, even our very bodies. Clinging to these impermanent things breeds suffering, while embracing their transience ushers in peace. So, how do you integrate this wisdom into your life? Make it a sacred weekly ritual. Select something of great importance to you and vividly imagine its absence. Then, crucially, visualize how you would rise from this loss. What wellsprings of courage would you draw upon? What new paths would you forge? What would remain steadfast in your heart? This practice cultivates what psychologists refer to as your psychological immune system, the innate ability to rebound from adversity. When your mind has rehearsed facing challenges, you develop a quiet confidence that propels you forward. You evolve into what contemporary thinkers describe as anti-fragile, not merely surviving shocks, but emerging from them even stronger. Law 8 encourages you to embody the person your aspirations demand of you. The ancient philosopher Epictetus wisely proclaimed, "First decide who you want to be, then do what must be done." This principle forms the backbone of the Stoic approach to discipline. Rather than relentlessly pursuing outcomes, shift your focus towards cultivating the kind of individual capable of achieving those outcomes. Many individuals approach discipline from the wrong angle. They become preoccupied with results instead of personal transformation. For instance, someone may desire to lose weight without ever evolving into an individual who places health at the forefront of their priorities. Others may yearn for greater financial prosperity, yet fail to develop into someone who practices sound fiscal judgment. Many crave deeper connections, but don't nurture the qualities of reliability and consistency in relationships. This misalignment is precisely why so many endeavors falter. They attempt to implement new behaviors while still clinging to an outdated self-concept. They find themselves in a struggle against who they are, rather than embarking on a journey towards becoming who they aspire to be. Every action you take serves as a vote for the type of person you wish to become. When you engage in physical exercise, you are casting a vote for a healthier, fitter version of yourself. Every time you put pen to paper, you are affirming your identity as a writer. If you take a moment to meditate, you are reinforcing your identity as someone who cherishes clarity of thought. The Stoics held a profound belief that identity is not rigid. It is malleable. You are not born inherently disciplined or scattered, nor do you enter this world brimming with bravery or engulfed in fear. These characteristics are not innate. They are shaped through persistent practice. Consider the most disciplined individual you know. They didn't simply wake up that way. They became that person through continuous choices favoring discipline until it naturally became woven into their being. They opted for the more challenging path consistently enough that it transformed into their default mode of operation. Here lies the essential truth. When your identity aligns seamlessly with your habits, effort transforms into ease. An athlete doesn't struggle to train. Training is the essence of who they are. A devoted reader doesn't have to wrestle with the urge to open a book. Reading is simply part of their identity. Likewise, someone who perceives themselves as disciplined does not grapple with willpower. Discipline is intrinsically part of their character. However, altering your identity requires more than mere dreams or hopes. It demands what researchers refer to as identity-based proof. You need tangible evidence that you are indeed the person you aspire to be. This evidence emerges from your actions, particularly those small, repeated efforts that often go unnoticed. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius beautifully articulated this notion by saying, "Be like the rock that waves keep crashing against. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it." He became that steadfast individual not through proclamations, but by living authentically each day. Every morning, he would set his intentions, and at night, he would reflect on how faithfully he had adhered to his values. So, where do you embark on this transformative journey? Begin with a pivotal question. Who do I wish to become? Rather than fixating on material possessions or achievements, delve into the essence of who you desire to be. Do you aspire to be brave? Disciplined? Creative? Calm? Be specific in your vision. Once you have clarity, ask yourself, what actions would that person take today? If your goal is to embrace health, how would a healthy individual approach their lunch? If you seek success, how would a successful person choose to spend their evening? If you wish to cultivate mental resilience, how would a mentally tough person react to stress in this moment? Commence with a single action that resonates with your envisioned identity. Avoid the temptation to overhaul your life in one fell swoop. Instead, select a manageable, small change you can incorporate into your daily routine. Perhaps it begins with something as simple as making your bed. Perhaps it starts with crafting a single paragraph. It could be as simple as taking a stroll for 10 minutes. Yet, the exact nature of the task pales in comparison to the unwavering consistency that underpins it. Each time you engage in this action, you are fortifying your identity. Every deliberate follow-through acts like a brick, contributing to the edifice of your evolving self. Over time, these seemingly insignificant actions accumulate, leading to profound transformations. The Stoics referred to this practice as asquekes, or spiritual exercises. They recognized that personal growth is not an enchanting spell, but rather a meticulous craft. Just as honing the skills of an athlete or a musician demands repetition, cultivating a better version of yourself requires intentional and persistent effort. Discipline is not something you simply wish for. It's a skill you actively cultivate. You embody it until it becomes an intrinsic part of who you are. And therein lies the beauty of this journey. Transforming your identity doesn't hinge on achieving perfection. What it truly requires is a clear sense of direction. Each time you act in alignment with the person you aspire to be, you inch closer to that reality. Every choice that your future self would respect pulls you nearer to the life you envision. You don't instantly morph into your highest self. Rather, you evolve through a series of disciplined decisions, one at a time. Law 9 emphasizes the importance of building a process rather than fixating solely on the prize. Seneca wisely noted, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." He grasped the essence of the 9th Stoic law of discipline. Authentic progress is born from constructing robust systems rather than merely establishing lofty ambitions. Many individuals find themselves ensnared in the pursuit of goals. They craft elaborate lists, dream grandly, and outline their desired outcomes. Yet, as weeks pass, their initial motivation wanes. They experience burnout and disorientation. Why does this happen? Because they concentrate on the destination rather than the consistent journey required to reach it. They become preoccupied with the finish line, neglecting the race itself. The inherent flaw with goals is their short-lived nature. Once you achieve one, what's next? You may feel a sense of emptiness or anxiety about the next milestone, or if you miss it, a sense of defeat engulfs you. In either scenario, you find yourself trapped in a cycle. Setting goals can be likened to shoving clutter into a closet. It may appear tidy for a fleeting moment, but the underlying mess remains unresolved. The fundamental habits persist. The Stoics saw through this facade. They imparted the wisdom that enduring change doesn't stem from mere desires, but from the actions you consistently undertake. This is where systems come into play. A system comprises a series of consistent actions and routines that organically lead to improved results over time. When your focus is on the process, the outcomes will naturally align. Here's a profound truth. You don't rise to the height of your ambitions. Instead, you tend to fall to the level of your habits. If your goal is to shed some pounds, shift your focus away from the numbers on the scale. Instead, cultivate a system that incorporates daily movement, homemade meals, and a steady sleep schedule. If writing a book is your aspiration, don't become fixated on the completed manuscript. Establish a system that integrates daily writing sessions, weekly editing, and continuous learning. Remarkable results are merely the byproducts of well-designed systems. The most remarkable aspect of these systems is that they don't hinge on fleeting motivation. Motivation is as unpredictable as the weather, while systems provide a sturdy shelter. On days when lethargy grips you, your system will still propel you forward. That is the essence of true power. Marcus Aurelius had a remarkable approach to maintaining alignment in his life. Every morning, he took the time to articulate his intentions, setting a clear purpose for the day ahead. As the sun dipped below the horizon, he would reflect on the choices he made, assessing what he had done. It wasn't merely about achieving a specific goal. Rather, it was about the ongoing journey of personal growth. The Stoics referred to this principle as kaizen, which embodies the idea of steady, continuous improvement. Imagine the power of becoming just 1% better each day. It may seem insignificant in the moment, yet over time, those small increments accumulate into a profound transformation. That's the hidden truth. Results are born from consistent repetition. But how can one cultivate systems that truly work? Begin by envisioning your ideal identity, the person you aspire to be. Then, Ask yourself, what actions does this person take on a daily basis? If your envisioned self embodies strength, perhaps they commit to training every day. If they exude wisdom, they would engage in reflection or devour books. If focus characterizes them, they would eliminate distractions. These are not mere goals. They are the very behaviors that shape character. Here lies the crucial insight. Design your system to be so simple that failure becomes a rarity. Instead of aiming for an hour of exercise each day, start with just 5 push-ups. Rather than committing to read an entire book weekly, begin with a single page. Instead of pressuring yourself into 30 minutes of meditation, initiate your practice with 3 deep breaths. Embracing simplicity fosters consistency. Seneca, the ancient philosopher, didn't merely make grand donations. He engaged in small acts of kindness every day. It was this consistent rhythm of generosity that shaped his character, rather than the magnitude of his contributions. Take a moment to evaluate your existing systems. What routine actions are propelling you toward your future self? Conversely, what habits are steering you away from that vision? Construct your system in such a way that your environment and habits make the pathway to discipline almost automatic. Keep in mind that while goals outline your destination, it is your systems that determine the journey you take to get there. When you place your trust in the process, the results will naturally follow. The 10th and final Stoic law of discipline reveals a profound truth. Virtue is the ultimate victory. Marcus Aurelius, a man of immense wealth, influence, and pleasure, once stated, "Very little is needed for a happy life. It's all in your mindset." This underscores that the essence of life's happiness hinges upon virtue itself, with everything else being secondary. Many individuals chase after external achievements, convinced that these will usher in lasting fulfillment. They believe that happiness is found in landing the perfect job, cultivating the ideal relationship, sculpting the perfect physique, or accumulating wealth. Yet, the Stoics uncovered a deeper insight. Anything outside of your control cannot grant you genuine peace. What you truly possess, and what can never be taken from you, is your character. The Stoics identified 4 essential virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These are not lofty ideals, but rather practical tools for navigating daily life. By focusing on these virtues, you become fortified against life's challenges. Wisdom entails perceiving reality with clarity, seeing the world as it is rather than through the lens of fantasy or fear. This understanding empowers you to make reasoned decisions, free from emotional turbulence. As you cultivate wisdom, you become impervious to manipulation, whether internal or external. Courage, contrary to popular belief, is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to take decisive action despite feeling afraid. It is about doing what is necessary, even when it feels uncomfortable, risky, or unpopular. Courage serves as the muscle that carries you through adversity. Justice embodies fairness, ensuring that you treat others with respect and equity. Embracing the essence of integrity means treating others with respect and recognizing that your well-being is intricately linked to theirs. When you choose to live a life marked by justice, you naturally become a beacon of trust and support for those around you. Temperance, the embodiment of self-control, allows you to savor life's pleasures without being enslaved by your desires. It empowers you to endure through challenges without crumbling under pressure. With temperance, you cultivate a sense of equilibrium, a quality that many seem to lose in the throes of extremes. The true might of virtue lies in its resilience. It cannot be taken from you. Someone may strip your financial assets bare, but they cannot rob you of your integrity. They may tarnish your reputation, yet your honor remains unchanged. They might inflict pain upon your body, but they cannot reach your soul unless you grant them that power. Epictetus, who began life in chains, discovered profound freedom within the realm of virtue. He proclaimed that no one can harm you without your permission. This isn't about being physically untouchable. It's about possessing moral fortitude. When your joy stems solely from your values, you liberate yourself from the influence of external forces. The real challenge lies in making virtue your guiding star. Instead of pondering whether a choice will enrich you, consider whether it will enhance your wisdom. Don't ask if it will make you popular, but whether it will bolster your sense of justice. It's not about what is easy, but rather about what is courageous. This approach does not imply that you should shun success or enjoyment. The Stoics were not hermits sequestered in caves, nor did they oppose wealth or accolades. Their stance was simply one of refusing to be dominated by such pursuits. They referred to this mindset as preferred indifference, appreciable if acquired, but never worth compromising your soul. The Stoics had a profound saying: "The best revenge is to not be like your enemy." In essence, when faced with unvirtuous behavior from others, do not allow their actions to drag you down. Instead, elevate yourself by remaining steadfast in your principles. Marcus Aurelius, amidst betrayal, warfare, and relentless pressure, chose virtue each day. He wisely noted, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not become like the one who wronged you." This represents the pinnacle of triumph. By prioritizing virtue, the rest of your life begins to harmonize. You cease to fear failure, recognizing it as a sign of growth. You stop seeking validation from others as you become firmly rooted in your own beliefs. You let go of the dread of loss, for you understand that nothing truly essential can ever be taken from you. These principles are not mere relics of the past. They serve as your compass to inner strength. However, it's vital to remember that knowledge without action is futile. The Stoics made it abundantly clear. Philosophy is not confined to lectures. It is meant for living. Epictetus urged, "Don't merely discuss your philosophy, embody it." These principles will only transform you if you actively live by them. They can only cultivate discipline if you put them into practice. Choose one guiding principle today that resonates deeply with you. Perhaps it's mastering your mornings, gaining control over your emotions, or committing to act with virtue. Begin there. Dedicate yourself to that practice for 30 days. Resist the urge to tackle all 10 at once. That can lead to overwhelm. Instead, immerse yourself in one. Focus on progress, not perfection. You will stumble. You will have days that feel off. But this does not signify failure. It indicates that you are engaged in the battle. The Stoics did not demand perfection. They valued effort and understood that discipline is not about self-punishment, but about perseverance and growth. It's all about adapting, realigning your focus, and steadfastly navigating your journey. The wise Marcus Aurelius once shared a profound truth. You possess power over your mind, not the events that unfold around you. Understand this, and you will discover your inner strength. This encapsulates the essence of Stoicism perfectly. Your mind, your choices, your character. This is where your authentic power resides. These 10 principles are not mere theoretical concepts. They are tangible tools designed to awaken that dormant power within you. In a world that often seems chaotic, we need individuals who embody discipline, those who can maintain their composure amid turmoil, who are willing to postpone immediate pleasure in pursuit of greater rewards, and who cling to their values even when faced with adversity. By cultivating discipline, you're not simply rewriting your own narrative. You are playing a vital role in shaping a more resilient world around you. Your future self is awaiting your commitment. Each time you prioritize effort over ease, you are constructing that future version of yourself. Every instance you embrace these Stoic teachings, you are investing in a version of you that can withstand any challenge that life throws your way. The journey is endless, but it does become lighter as you progress. The habits you build will evolve into your natural rhythm, and the principles you adopt will become second nature. The future you begins to take form, molded by the decisions you make today. If this message resonates with you, express your appreciation. Share the most significant lesson you've learned in the comments below. Pass this wisdom along to someone who could benefit from it. And seek out more insights that empower you to become unshakable. Always remember, you are more capable than you ever imagined. You possess a strength that often goes unnoticed. You are more disciplined than you realize. These Stoic laws validate that truth. As a final affirmation, declare this in the comments. I am disciplined. I am strong. I am evolving into the person I am destined to be.